Hey YouTube, it's Earl, and it's time for another tobacco review. Tonight, we're going to take a look at Dunhill's 3-year matured Virginia. Let's get started. Well, gang, tonight, before we get too much further into this, I'm going to apologize, although you may not, the end product may not come through this way, but I'm going to apologize for the audio quality and for the video quality. I'm having a major fail tonight. My battery on my normal camera is not working, so optically it probably looks fine on your end. Certainly if you're looking at this on an iPhone, probably no big deal. But to me, and all the things that I really kind of try to do to go into this with my camera and my lens, the iPhone front-facing camera, just not the same. So with that, I'm going to apologize a little bit here, but let's get in. So Dunhill, 3-year matured Virginia. Let me read the back to you. The tin description says, Dunhill, 3-year matured Virginia. The name Dunhill is a trademark that is registered internationally. That's it. That's the only description that you get on the front of the tin. It just says 3-year Virginia. There's really not much description going on here on the tin, on the front or the back. Doing a little bit of research online, everything is really in the name. It's a matured Virginia. It's matured for at least 3 years before they manufacture it and send it out. There is some kind of maybe some older, advertising and write-ups for it that talked about it having a subtle fruit essence. So it's Virginia that's been topped with a subtle something. There you go. All right. So let's get into this. We'll get to the cut, the tin note, and then we'll talk about the smoke. And really, this is an STG product, and it is a fine ribbon cut that you can see there. Presentation is always nice little paper white collar that you've got. You can see from the cut itself, a lot of Virginias in here. And what do you smell? You smell 3-year-old Virginia. That's the only way I know to describe it. I've got a few tins of Virginia blends that are aged about 5 years or so. And especially when I first popped this tin earlier this week, there's very much, I don't know how to describe it other than that matured Virginia smell. It's very figgy, raisin smell. My wife smells this and says it's Fig Newton. They say there's a fruit essence added to this. They say it's subtle, and it's so subtle that I can't pick it up. I just can't. So to me, there might as well be no topping on this whatsoever. I did read some comments online, some reviews online, and people, kind of talked about there being an essence there, but it's being very subtle. I couldn't pick it up at all. So if I didn't have that out there telling me that there was an essence on here, I wouldn't smell it. Right now, it's mainly just a good kind of basic Virginia. It's kind of got that, there's a little tangy note, there's this sweet note, and there's this, kind of Fig Newton aroma to it. So let me dive in and talk to you a little bit about the smoke. Tonight I am smoking this in a Peterson. It's their dairy line, and nice little rusticated shape B10. I love that shape. Let me get in. Now, before I go too much further, Obviously, it's unusual that you can still find a Dunhill tobacco that you can buy. Now, the only place I see it is smokingpipes.com. So I don't know if this is a situation that Smoking Pipes has a lot of extra inventory, that they bought up a bunch of Dunhill 3-year matured Virginia and they've just got extra on their hands, or if STG just has a lot on their hands and Smoking Pipes was the only retailer that felt like continuing to sell it. We are coming up on, nearly 2 or 3 years since STG has lost the rights to manufacture Dunhill tobaccos under the Dunhill name. So some of my thought was, well, maybe it's because, they had 3 years in inventory and they just continued to manufacture the Virginia they had in inventory and keep producing it. I don't know. Normally you can date STG stuff. That's the back of the label. If any of you know how to date that based on the code, you can tell me, but it's not your normal STG label on the back. You can't, at least not the ones that I'm familiar with and that they've been making for the past 3 or 4 years, which would enable you to date the blend. Overall, I can make this review very, very simple. If you like a matured Virginia that's got a few years of age on it so that it will be very smooth, all the bite is out of it, provides a good, at times what I would call a malty smoke, so it is matured. It's not, I don't get too many high citrusy, grassy hay notes. I get more of your dark, earthy, more matured flavors from this. That's what you get in this blend. It's a very smokable Virginia. And it's just a good blend. So I would say if you're somebody who you'd really like to try out a Virginia to see what it's all about, to see what is it that these guys are liking. I think this could be a good introduction to you to a straight Virginia blend. It's not the best straight Virginia blend out there. Like I don't light this up, and I didn't have the same reaction like I did to a McClelland's 40th anniversary. You can't get McClelland's Virginias anywhere anymore. Nor, I'm trying to think, maybe like GLP's Union Square, I think is his kind of just straight Virginia or full Virginia flake from Samuel Gawith, or what's McBaron Virginia flake there. Their pressed, their HH Virginia flake. I wouldn't put it up there with those. To me, those are some of your top straight Virginia blends that just have wonderful complexity, are great, and just have great flavor, bring you back wanting to smoke some more. This is good, don't get me wrong. I've smoked 6 or 7 bowls of this in a fairly short period of time. I smoked 3 bowls of it one day. I don't normally smoke 3 bowls, but and it was smooth on the 3rd bowl just as it was on the 1st bowl. Very smooth smoke, good introduction to a Virginia blend if you'd like to try it out. Well, fellas, this is Earl. This has been another tobacco review. Dunhill's 3-year matured Virginia. You can still get it at smokingpipes.com. Go check it out. Thanks.